Thanks, Kate. Thanks to the Reed corporate team for this opportunity to come back and update existing shareholders. I know there's quite a few here, and potentially new shareholders on the Gateway story. Thanks for everyone sticking around inside for have listened, and those online for tuning in. Usual disclaimer, visible on our website for those that want to go and have a read. So who is Gateway? What are we? Well, it's a fairly simple story. We've got a single project in Western Australia, gold project at Montague, located about 800 k's northeast of Perth, right in the heart of WA's Murchison goldfields. And everyone up here today has extolled the virtues of WA as a tier 1 destination, but particularly for gold, this is the case. I mean, it's got a long history of gold mining in WA. It's well understood by everyone from government all the way down. And so, you know, it's a great place to be looking for gold. It's a great place to then develop gold projects going forward. So our Montague Gold project, it's a significant land holding north of Sandstone. Up to date, we've been pretty successful in delineating just over 500,000 ounces of resources. And the key there is that there was a bit of mining up in the area in the early 1990s by Herald Resources, a few shallow pits mined, but really since that time, the project sat a bit stagnant until Gateway got stuck into it about 5 years ago. So delineating not only resources around some of these little pits, but making new discoveries near surface. So these are key assets to have in a mature gold mining area like the Murchison, undeveloped gold projects nearby to existing infrastructure. We've got a great team, the board, experienced board with a wide spread of relevant skills to not only running a gold exploration company, but then evaluating and developing that from exploration through to commercialisation. And we've got a great supportive shareholder base who've been behind the company for quite a while and help us to progress this project. Quick corporate structure. You can see there we've just recently, or last year, reconstituted the capital, so we're nice and tight now at about 260 million shares, about a 13 mil market cap, and you know, has been pretty well demonstrated with regards to junior golds. It's been a tough 18 months, but really we've got real resources in the ground, near surface, unmined gold resources, and you know, for the value there and the leverage to being exposed to this, you know, what everyone's agreeing is a pretty positive outlook for the gold price. Gateway's a fairly attractive option there. Major shareholder, Kerry Hermanis, who's been around and pretty well known at the resource Rising Stars. He's been very supportive of us over the years, and our second major shareholder there, Pete Langworthy, who a lot of people in the room know pretty well as well. Quick summary of the board, good spread of skills as I mentioned before. Myself being a geologist in background in mining and feasibility studies mainly. Deb Fullerton, our non-exec chair, up until taking on the chair role with Gateway. She was most recently the CEO of Westgold, one of the main WA mid-tier gold miners, and also the major player in the Murchison region where we are. So that's pretty key experience to have on the board. And then last year we added Peter Lester there to the board as well, who's a pretty well credentialed and experienced mining engineer, and been involved in a lot of M&A activity as well. And so he brings a whole raft of relevant skills to the Gateway board. Where are we? I mentioned before, we're up in the North Murchison goldfields of WA, so we're north of the town of Sandstone, and this is a great place to be. We're near a whole series of existing operations. You can see there on this map, got all the Westgold and Ramelius guys out to the west of us, Bellevue and Goldfields out to the east of us, and this is a key feature for the project because it means that, you know, we got options there for commercialising this project. We're not reliant on having to get over 1.5, 2 million ounces to look at standalone operations. You know, this is not an asset that's going to get stranded. You know, we are right in the middle of gold producing country in WA. The other key thing there is where we are in the Sandstone Gidgee area. All the resources there are basically controlled by other juniors. So it's the main part of the WA goldfields that really hasn't got a major player in the area, and this has obvious ramifications for future consolidation in the belt, and we're really positioning Gateway to be in a great position to take full advantage of that for our shareholders. I mentioned before that we've grown this resource base over the last 3 to 4 years. You know, 70% of our resources are within 100 metres of surface. In fact, quite a number of them come right up to just below surface. So these are key assets to have, unmined, open pitable gold resources in an area that's full of active mining operations. Not only have we found a number of resources under around these shallow pits that were mined by Herald back in the 90s, but We've made 3 new discoveries nearby around this key feature in the historic mining area, which is this Montague granodiorite. This has given us a real confidence that this is a major mineralised system. All these deposits, they are related. We can show that now, and the understanding we've got that they are part of a big gold system, and has been demonstrated in Western Australia. When you get onto these big gold systems, the more you explore them, the more you drill them, the more they open up. So really now what we're about is trying to show for shareholders and demonstrate just the real potential of this project. So we've got up to 500,000 ounces so far. Now we're really going to get bold with our exploration and step out and try and unlock the true potential of this project. So we've embarked on this step change focus, and really what we've got there is 1,000 square k's covering 2 of the major mineralised trends in the Gum Creek Greenstone Belt. We can see where Montague is there on the map there on the right in the green. 500,000 ounces current, about 150,000 ounces past produced. With some of the resources that our neighbours Horizon Gold own to the south of us at Howards, this Montague granodiorite dome is about a 1 million ounce system. So it's a major system. But not only that, when you look at the trend up to the north, some of the other historic mining operations up further north of our ground, this is pretty well endowed, and under our tenure there in the middle, it's undercover, hasn't been explored, and this is a real opportunity for us going forward. So to start with, embarking on this new focus of looking for big step change discoveries, we went through and engaged Model Earth, who are a key structural and economic geological consulting mob in Perth. Put together all the geology based on all the new data that's been generated over the last 20 odd years since it was done last, and look at the major controls on mineralisation in the area and help us to identify areas to go and target on this major mineralised trend. And that project's coming to an end. We've got these major target areas, and we're starting to use that to guide us with our exploration now. We've got guys in the field currently completing work up there. The other thing we're looking at as well is around that Montague granodiorite dome. As I mentioned, we've got 500,000 ounces there in a series of deposits that's all related. So we've just finished undertaking a 2-dimensional seismic survey there to help us understand these controlling structures at depth, target deeper drilling to hopefully unlock the real potential there. Seismic survey, about 17 k's over 3 traverses, and really what this is going to help us do is look at what these mineralised structures do at depth. We've got EIS funding for some deep diamond drilling from the WA Government Exploration Incentive Scheme, which will help us to target these holes and help pay for the costs. And really what we're looking for is both the orientation of the dome at depth, as well as what happens to these structures. Are there repeats there at depth? Is there further potential to really unlock a lot more gold around this dome? As an example of that, this is the Caledonian Evermore corridor. This contains 2 of our resources at Montague Boulder and Evermore. It's a continuous structure, over 4 kilometres long. Excuse me. Currently hosts, well over 230,000 ounces in our resources, plus 3 historic pits have been mined on this trend. The deepest hole there is only 250 metres below surface, which we drilled back in 2021. And even there, it's 3.5 metres at 5 grams, still going strong. So there's a real opportunity here at depth. I've mentioned a few times, all our resources are shallow. A lot of these major systems in WA have been demonstrated over the last number of years that they do keep going at depth. They are quite widespread at depth. So there's a real opportunity for us here to unlock a lot more gold. We've also just had some tenements granted in the north of the project, covering some of these major target areas that we spoke about earlier. So the guys are up on site now, undertaking a first pass soil geochemical survey. This is pretty exciting stuff. There's a few historic drilling intersections in the area which have considerable gold up there. But not only that, we've got the ability to go in and start an air core program in June, our next drilling program to cover some of these target areas for the first time, and really look at what could be on this trend that's got a demonstrated gold endowment over a number of kilometres. Having said that, we're going to go and look for step change discoveries on the rest of our tenement area, which is pretty key. That's not to say that we're ignoring our existing resources, where there's still plenty of scope to grow them. So we can see here at Achilles East, Achilles is one of our existing resources, about 100,000 ounces of oxide gold. It literally starts 4 metres below surface, so it's really easily accessible open pit methods. If we look there, some of the drilling that's done immediately east of the existing resource, there's major zones of mineralisation from shallow depths This is a big footprint of gold mineralisation over a widespread area of the granodiorite. There's a corresponding geophysical anomaly that matches up with this mineralisation. So this is large scale potential right next to our existing shallow resources, and really we just got to get on and get some drill holes into this area. Julius, which is our latest discovery, we announced a resource on this for the first time last year. 77,000 ounces in the oxide zone basically, starting from about 11 metres below surface. You can see the Julius resource area in that little gold box, but we did further air core drilling off to the southwest of this same trend, continue to map out the gold mineralisation further for over 700 metres along strike. So there's clear potential here for us to keep expanding this resource with further drilling. The Flame Tree, the old Flame Tree prospect down to the south there, there's a lot of gold in the oxide zone there. It's a fairly complex area, we don't quite understand it, but what it's telling us is that this area, it's a major new gold trend. We're only just starting to scratch the surface there. So there's a fair bit of potential to get on and find more gold right next door to our existing resources. Montague Boulder, this is our biggest resource we have. There was a shallow pit mine there in the 1990s. Got 163,000 ounces there, measured, indicated and inferred. But some drilling we did last year showed in the granodiorite, which is that pink rock there in the cross sections. This sits adjacent to the existing resource, and there's stacked repetitions of the same structures that we see in the green rock, the basalt there, continuing into the granodiorite. This isn't in the resource, so there's clear potential there to add further ounces to this existing resource, right in the shadow of what we've got already. A recent thing that we did, and this is a focus for us, trying to realise value of the project for shareholders. We're gold explorers. We try and stick to our knitting and focus on what we do and what we know. But there is potential in this project for a number of other commodities. And we were approached last year by the guys at Sensor, who are a listed exploration company, that identified this area as potentially prospective for lithium. As I said, we don't want to get too distracted from our core business, but we entered into an agreement with Sensor whereby they're going to farm into 80% of the lithium rights over some of these tenements. We're free carried at 20% with the ability to claw back another 10% should a major discovery be made. One of the keys with this deal as well is that we stipulated that 50% of that $4.5 million spend is to go on direct drilling costs, and we have access to all the drill core and drill chips and the like for our own gold exploration. So this is a bit of a free kick for Gateway shareholders. No one's ever looked for lithium up in this part of the world. It's got some of the fundamentals, I suppose you'd say, of potentially having pegmatites, but there's none of that work being done. So, this could be anything. We're pretty excited by it, and to see what the guys at Sensor do. They're pretty smart guys and develop their own artificial intelligence targeting software that they're using. So we'll see where that goes over the coming years. So in summary, with Gateway, it's a fairly simple story. We've got a single gold asset in a great part of the world for gold. It's a simple pathway to commercialisation. There's a number of existing operating gold mines around us which provide us options. We don't necessarily need to get into any sort of critical threshold for development. We've got existing infrastructure. We've already delineated 500,000 ounces, and there's a lot of potential for more. We're showing that this is a large gold system, and we're pretty excited to get on to finding out just how big this thing can be. And as I mentioned before, with the gold price strength that we're seeing now and the predicted further run of that gold price strength, we're highly leveraged to that over time. We've got an experienced and successful board and management team. We've been there, we've been involved in discoveries, we've taken things from exploration through to development into production successfully over time, and we've got a really strong group of shareholders that are backing us. So we're pretty excited about the future for Gateway and our shareholders. Thanks for listening. If anyone wants to come and see me in the booth, feel free, and have a good afternoon.